And let's get the show on the road. I know I'm still waiting for one other person. Dora, can you see if Lori's going to be able to make it, or if she's taking care of this raccoon that she's got?
Okay, give me a second.
Thank you. All right, this morning, it was brought up yesterday during our little staff meeting, want to call it that we need to talk about the way to solve the problems, okay, the best issues at hand. And I spent all night thinking about it and meditating, not getting very much sleep. Went to bed at 2:30 this morning and woke up at 5:30, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and decided that I needed to do an episode of the Infinity Solutions on cause and effect. So today, as soon as I can get Lori in here, my requirement before I start is that there's at least 3 people that are recording, because we have issues when it comes to the recording and upload of these videos. Some people are experiencing the beginning and partial recordings, and then it'll be fine for the first few minutes, and then afterwards it decides that it's going to.
She's getting on.
Okay, thank you. And so that's what we're working on here. So we're going to keep that in mind. All right, Lori, I'm giving you permission to record. So I encourage people who has the ability to record these teachings and share them accordingly. I have people that are dedicated to uploading the videos to their own YouTube channels and sharing them on our page. If you want to be part of that, then please let us know. Kind of like be our backup to the backup. All right. Yeah, you're probably hearing an echo because I have to use a iPad for my pictures and my laptop. Okay, I'm trying to get it corrected, but it's because it's being picked up by my iPad at the time. So I tried to mute it, but it's not working out here, guys. All right. So today, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Infinity Solutions for the Infinity AAA project. I'm Mike Nashif. I am the teacher this morning, and for most of them right now, until other people become a little bit more aware of the subtle energies that we're working with here, and they have a better understanding. So without further, I guess, ado, we are going to go ahead and get started here. Okay. Make sure. All right. Good morning, everyone. Let me get rid of this, see if we can help this echo. All right, is this echo a little bit better? Is it too much of a problem? Better? All right, fantastic. All right, let's, got my coffee this morning, and it's Monday morning, a little foggy here in East Texas. Hoping everybody is doing all right. I heard there's some storms running around in Texas last night. Some tornadoes, there's some earthquakes, there's some flooding. There's a whole lot of crap going on out there in the world right now. And we're always here to look for different ways and solutions to help those people that need it the most. Okay. First things first, though, is you got to help yourself. And the videos that I make and my team helps to upload, they're designed for you guys to copy them. Okay. It's the very beginning starting point for much bigger and better things. Okay. This is the crawl stage in our crawl, walk, run scenario when it comes to plasma or light technology. So with that being said, you guys have to have an understanding of how to solve the problems. Okay. And you might be a little bit shocked or in disbelief, I think is the right word, of just how simple everything in our universe is. Okay, our society, the media, the drugs that you take, big pharma, big business, everybody like that has worked really hard to make things complicated and to make you believe that you can't do anything. And we are here at the Infinity Project to tell you that you have the power. Okay, you guys have this control, and we're trying to give that to the people a little bit at a time. So when we do all of this stuff, I'm expecting you guys to follow along. Okay, make the devices as we go, and then ask questions in the next session. Okay, I'm not really looking for people right now to modify these things. Okay, because you got to start from the very beginning. All right, you have to start at the very beginning and the central core of everything. And if we don't, then we don't get the solution that we want. All right, and that's where cause and effect comes in. Okay, everything that we do, everything that we say, every emotion that we feel has some sort of an effect on our environment around us. Okay, and you know, a lot of you guys that follow my work have some sort of a spiritual belief system, okay? And some of those that come into this may have a religious belief system or purely scientific or, you know, whatever it might be, okay? These teachings will make you question your very foundation for creation, and you'll realize that it's a lot harder to share that information with the general public. Okay, and you know, every one of you that is on this spiritual path right now, you're watching these videos for a reason. Okay, you're learning about plasma or light for a reason. Okay, and we're trying to help you understand that reason. Now, when I'm working with any energy device, okay, if I'm working with my own personal situations here in my own life, okay, or if I'm trying to help somebody else try to figure out a way that they can help themselves or someone that they love, okay, I always fall back on the cause and effect of everything. Okay, a lot of people, you know, will call it clairvoyance, you know, being able to predict the future, things like that. Okay, it's not that. The future is unwritten. Okay, but you can, however, base your decisions off of cause and effect. Okay, my actions right now, okay, talking on this recording, talking to you guys, you know, it doesn't matter how many people are in the list for participants. Okay, every time we make a recording, okay, you guys are listening, you're intent, you're eager, you're learning, you're here because you want to be. Okay, and it's this small group that will make a huge difference in the world, because whenever we make a video, okay, and we save it to a hard drive where it's transmitted through the internet, it's saved to a hard drive, okay? And all of our data storing technology is based off of what we call magnetism, okay, and some sort of a magnetic field that's on your hard drives. Well, that magnetic field reaches the same, it works on the same wavelength, the same frequency, or, you know, the same energetic level as your emotions. So when you make stuff and you save it to the internet, okay, it's saved to somebody's hard drive, which means that on the subtle energy level, you're saving it to their DNA, okay, and their RNA, so that even if they don't watch it, okay, we're programming DNA by sharing information. So every device that you make, every understanding that you have, it's important that you share, because you're sharing on the emotional level when you share on video, okay? And a lot of people are nervous about getting on video and sharing because they're afraid of the repercussions, okay? Whether their family might turn against them because they don't share the same beliefs, their friends, their job, okay? You know, or even the government might come knocking on your door because whatever reason, okay? Because this is free energy and they want to stop it. Well, we're here to put an end to that, okay? We're here to put an end to the division, and we're here to put an end to the suffering and the pain and all that bullshit that's going on in our world right now, okay? And you guys are all part of that. So you should be proud. But the cause and effect of everything is all about finding the root cause of everything, okay? The root cause of your problems, the root cause of your happiness, the root cause of everything, okay? And you can create a magnet, as we understand it, okay, to attract those things, okay? Some of you may have heard it. It's called the law of attraction, okay? You know, I haven't really done too much studying on somebody else's version of the law of attraction, but the way it works for me is, since we live in a world of polar opposites, okay, and a universe of polar opposites, that means that whatever we see in matter form, okay, whether it be a table or a chair or a computer or another person or a dog or plant, it doesn't matter, okay? If we can see it, then there is an automatic opposite that exists, automatically, okay? And that's your polar opposite. When you make an IQ, okay, the infinity version of the Q reactors, okay, it's the simplest version so far that we've come up with to help reduce your electric bill and your fuel costs and things like that. When you make one of those, you're connecting to your polar opposite, okay? You're connecting to your higher self. And when you do it in infinity, you're making sure that it's just you that you're connecting to, okay? Your higher self. If you make another one of these devices like the Qs or the MagGravs, okay, there's nothing wrong with them, okay? You're still connecting to your higher self. It's just that you've basically given out your galactic phone number, all right? And it could be centuries before anything decides to hack into that kind of a system, but you leave yourself open to vulnerability, okay? And it's not fear. I have no reason to believe that the Q or the MagGrav units or anything like that are going to be hijacked anytime soon, because it needs to get into the light realm, okay? The artificial intelligence needs to get into the light realm, and its avenue is by these Q devices, okay? To keep it from happening that way, you just add some sort of a capacitor or device that is twisted. Use a Trinity wire, the easiest version. Don't count the number of twists, and you got yourself a security system, okay? And nobody knows that security system but yourself. So just because we're dealing with light energies doesn't mean that necessarily every being that we come in contact with is a nice being, okay? But that also doesn't mean that everyone is bad either, okay? You have to trust your instincts. You have to trust yourself, okay? If you get that instinct in the beginning that it doesn't feel right, listen to it. It's okay. If you don't listen to it, you'll eventually come back to that first decision. And that's what I've learned through all the time that I've spent sitting on the floor in my living room, bending these wires and asking myself questions. I didn't look outwards for my information, guys. I looked inwards and I found it. Okay. You know, in time, the experiments will be fruitful in results. I understand this. Okay. Right now, it's so brand new. We barely even have technology, if any, to read these devices. At least that's not available to the public. And you know, so it's up to us to find and make these devices that are able to read these energy fields that we are creating. Okay. The best device that I know of so far is the human body that can read it. And with that, we need to go into the cause and effects of the human body. I've had a lot of requests for an explanation on the human body. Okay. And I know that the Keshe Foundation has touched on this, okay, and there's been some times that it's really difficult to understand some of the words. A lot of that has to do with the language barrier that we've got, okay? And in the language barriers that we have, we're many different languages and many different meanings around the planet, okay, for the different words causes all the confusion, okay? So what I've done with the Infinity Project is I've simplified it down to two options, okay? You either have a positive and a negative, a plus and a minus sign, a red or a blue, okay? Clockwise or counterclockwise. Those are the two options that you need to understand, okay, when it comes to dealing with light energies. We're not dealing with weight. We're not dealing with you know, the total number of protons and neutrons and things like that, because when you work with infinity, it happens automatically. And you don't have to worry about it, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand, that we don't need those extra numbers, okay? As long as you have a clear understanding that these happen automatically, okay? And it can read your intent, it can read your soul energy, your nerve energy, okay, the neuron energy. It's reading your body like a record player, okay, with a little needle on it. And if you're in a bad mood when you're making devices, your bad mood is going to be transferred to those devices, okay? So, you know, we want to experience emotions. That's why we're here on the planet, okay? And that's to experience the 360 degrees of emotions that we have, okay, or the 360 emotions that humans are capable of experiencing, okay? And when I say an emotion, okay, our definition of emotion is something that we can't physically hold, okay, but we can feel it. Hunger is an emotion. The stomach pains is a physical emotion, okay? Your body is responding to you based on the environment around it, okay? And inside of it. And so what we're trying to do is you've always got to maintain a balance within your body. If we don't maintain that balance in our body, then, excuse me, you might get an echo again, guys, and I apologize, but I need my iPad. When we don't have balance in our body, okay, we have an excess amount of negative polarity energies. We learn to feed sickness, okay? We learn to feed the diseases that are inside, okay? And the human body is supposed to be balanced. Let's see if I can draw myself a nice little sexy little body here. All right. And if we divide our body into halves and quarters, okay, we can tell how our body works. There's such a delay between my iPad. Now, when we're working with our body, we have to have an equal amount of positive energy and negative energy. Okay? Our definition of positive and negative needs to change. Okay? If you know anything about our bodies, okay, we understand that our body has if we're breaking it down into polarities, there's only two polarities, a positive and a negative. Okay? The right side of our brain controls the left side of our bodies. Right? We understand this. Okay? Every sickness that we have, if we got a cough or we got a cold, okay, or let's say we've got the sudden pains just below our navel, okay, or maybe we're having some muscle pains in our back, or maybe all of the muscles or just the joints are hurting. Okay, when we do that, that's our body yelling at us saying, hey, we need to do something. There's something out of balance here. And in order to keep that balance, okay, we have to, one, eat right. And right now it's impossible to eat right based off of everything that we do, okay, in our society, at least here in America. Okay, everything that we eat is designed to make us sick in some way, shape, or form. Monsanto and all of these GMOs have got their fingers in everything. Okay, from the French fries, at your local fast food, okay, all of that stuff. And it's all designed to keep you sick, okay? When they're spraying you with chemtrails, they've got a whole bunch of chemicals that are being added into it. They're nanoparticles, okay? So when you breathe them in, they're automatically absorbed into the body. And if you're trying to bring balance back into your body to make yourself healthy, you've got to create an alkaline environment within your body, okay? Nothing inside the human body can survive when it's in an alkaline environment. It's the sugars and the acidic environment that feeds your cancers or your sicknesses or anything like that. So if you're still under the illusion that cancer is deadly, you're wrong. It's only deadly because the doctor told you to, and you're continuing to take medications. The medications are going to make you more sick than the actual cancer itself. And if you're to drink just lemon water, okay, and baking soda and water to change the inside of your body composition to an alkaline environment, within 2 weeks or so, you can heal your own body from cancer or any sickness. But once you start and you don't maintain that lifestyle, okay, the cancer will come back. If you want to continue to feed it, then of course it's going to come back. Okay, it's kind of like, feeding a situation with your spouse. Okay, if you're going to pick a fight with them because you're going to keep digging and digging until you get the result that you want. Well, the food is no different, okay, except it's not waiting for you to give it permission to feed the cancer. Okay, so you have to make a conscious decision to keep your body in balance and everything that you put into your body. Now, I'm not a saint, I promise you. Okay, I'm still eating meat. I'm still, I still smoke cigarettes. I smoke weed. I do all of these things that are not healthy for my body, and I know that. Okay, but that's a conscious decision, and I still just utilize it in moderation. You know, I don't have red meat for dinner every day. Okay. I might go out and have a burger once every couple of weeks. Okay. In the meantime, I'm eating fruits and vegetables. You know, there's times when I can't eat anything but peanut butter and jelly, and I joke with my wife that I've been reduced down to nuts and berries. You know, and there's nothing wrong with it. You just need to, you'll figure out that your body is craving protein when you're feel like you're having cravings for meat. Okay, and there's a lot of supplements out there that I'm still learning that provide you with all of the protein that you need. The strongest animals on this planet all eat plants. So it isn't about, oh, we need meat to be strong. All right. You know, once we curb our appetite for meat, okay, which will automatically come, okay, over time. And once we curb that, then we start seeing the change in the environment because we no longer need larger because we no longer need people's ability to grow these things, okay, animals, and we don't need the farms and things like that. There's a lot of you know, a majority of our earth problems come from the agricultural department of trying to feed people with meat. And, you know, we're tearing up lands, we're doing all sorts of things, okay? We did that, we had to do that in order to survive, but now we're not surviving anymore, okay? We're living, and we have the technology to live, and we have the ability to make these decisions for ourselves because we have the knowledge, all right? There's a video currently going around of Tom Salas, who happens to be a good friend of mine, that he just made some food GANs, okay? And the video itself shows him taking all of the supplements and putting them into a caustic solution, letting it sit for a couple of days, okay? Some of you may have seen this video, okay? I want you to think of that little box after a couple of days of sitting there, okay? It has all of this in there. Think of that like your stomach, because that's exactly what it is. You have a caustic solution inside of your stomach that breaks down your food and breaks it down into the dark matter, or the nanoform, as we call it, into your stomach, and you're able to absorb all of the nutrients, okay? It's only a partial answer, okay? Because you still got to worry about the water you drink, you still got to worry about the air you breathe. Oh wait, those are things that you can't do right now, okay? So, well, you don't have to worry about it. All of this stuff is going to change, okay? And it isn't necessarily by your physical hand, but those that are in the positions to take care of that. And when you become aware of it, okay, you raise the awareness of yourself and those around you because you're sharing your information, okay? That awareness is bringing balance to people. Whether you believe it or not, whether you feel it or not, all of the animosity that people might be showing towards you, okay, is because you're causing them to question their own belief system. It's really difficult to love people that don't like you. It's really difficult to care for people that don't care about you. This weekend we had, you know, any of you that follow my page, and you notice that my wife and my pictures of our garden and things like that, okay? We had a gentleman who had scheduled a week ago to come in and mow my yard and things like that, who showed up out of the blue 5 days later, unannounced, and started mowing the yard and came in and started hacking down all sorts of things, okay? That was very emotional for my wife, and you know, because of the time and the effort and the energy and the love that went into it, and then somebody came in and didn't even care. And it's really hard to love people like that. And, you know, we're going through that experience this weekend, you know, when all these energies are coming in from the central sun, they're bringing all of these to the surface right now. So if you're experiencing them, okay, then you're just being normal. And it'll pass in a couple of days, and don't take it serious to the point where you feel like you need to end your relationships or whatever, because the person that you're with right now, if you're with somebody, is who you're going to be with during this ascension process. Okay? You're a team, you're a twin flame. You may not realize it at the moment, but that's what it is. And now, when it comes time to bringing the balance back to the body, okay, we learn that the chakra system is no different than the wires that we make, okay? Right now, they currently teach that there are 7 chakras for the human body. What's a chakra, you guys ask? I don't like these words, but you know, with all of these energies that we work with, you want to know how it correlates to the human body. So let's correlate on how this is going to work. Okay. So we're going to give this guy a head, and we're going to give him some feet and his arms. Okay. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys, but we have these energy centers that are within our body. All right. And I guess I'll just give them a body here so we can keep a straight line going here. And all of our energy systems, from what I can tell, I include the pineal gland as part of your chakra system. So I believe that there's 8 chakras within the human body, and the 9th one is the rainbow aura, as we call it, that gets activated when your pineal gland and your heart chakra merge. So you have your crown chakra, you have your pineal, you have your third eye, you have your throat, you have your heart. I'm not sure what the next one is. Okay, your solar plexus, I believe. Then you have your sacral chakra and then the base chakra. Okay, that means that there are 8 of them. Okay, and all of these are connected. Each one of these can I count correctly? Yeah, there's 9 of them. No, I cannot count. Did not want to do that either, but we did. All right. You're going to see me draw a series of circles. Okay. Each one of these circles represents one of your chakra energy systems. There is a lot of information available on the internet that allows you the ability to identify what any one of your chakras is responsible for in the body. Okay? And once we realize this, that this system right here that we're working with works exactly the same way as the copper wires that we're bending. Okay? The energy flow is identical. It's exactly the same. And so what we were trying to replicate is the total energy that we want, okay? And since we are connected up here This is the last part that's going to connect. Okay, this is your crown chakra. And the only way that your crown chakra is going to be able to be fully activated, okay, is when the two hemispheres of your brain merge together. And they become the same polarity. When they become the same polarity, this will close up, okay, at the top. They will make the connection. And you get an overall shining aura that wraps around your body. Okay? But because your crown chakra and the pineal gland are activated, that means that all three are connected for your halo effect. Okay? And this is the depiction of Christ and all of the angels and everything else that you see, okay, where they have a sun disk or they have an energy field about them that is depicted in pictures, okay? And we haven't seen this available to us so that we can identify with those kinds of individuals that are beings of light who have made that connection to source energy, okay? And what we call prophets, God, angels, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them, okay? The point is they're all part of creation. And so when you get the human body and you make the connection of your soul, okay, you have the individual's head here, right? That's where the halo is. Then you got the throat chakra, and then you have your arms. And this is the core of the body, okay? Sure, this is a cheesy little stick figure, but you're going to get the idea, okay? It works, okay? And what we're recreating is this energy system, okay, and how it operates when we use these wires, okay? The cause and effect of everything that we do here is based off of the decisions that you make today, okay? Just like for now, me sharing this information, okay, or the information about the IQ or anything like that has an effect that will take it has an effect that affects the ripple in time, okay? And right now we have to ride that ripple until it reaches its destination, okay? And as we ascend and we move into the fifth density, okay, time will seem like it's going faster to us, okay? And the concept of time changes. That's why your sleep patterns change. This is why, you know, you might decide that, you know what, fuck it, I don't want to go to work today. I don't feel right. I don't feel good. I don't feel top 100%. I'm going to stay home. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself, okay, is to take time for yourself. And a lot of us are still fear-based, okay, and I know it sounds like a judgmental statement, but it's not. It's supposed to be a literal statement. And I mean that by you need the time for yourself, okay? Just sit in a room, put some earplugs in and put a blindfold on for 30 minutes. See if you can do it. Challenge yourself. Don't worry about what you need to think about or what you need to see or whatever. Just sit there and let what happens to you. And you might be surprised to see that, you know, if you just sit and close your eyes in a dark room, you'll start to see little wispy energy, okay, or what would appear to be a light in the darkness of your eyes when they're closed and covered. Okay, that is your soul energy. And if you're able to see that, that means that you can identify it and you can control it while it's in there. And it doesn't seem like it because it just kind of whops around and it's just there. Well, you can control it. You can organize it. You can turn it into a toroidal field. You can turn it into any shape you want because it's your imagination. Okay? When you can visualize something in your mind, you're actually creating it in plasma, in light energy. It's like a movie screen in your brain. Well, you're not being, it's not being projected outwards. Okay, so that means that it can only be light. Okay, a configuration of light within the brain that gives you a picture. That's the translation of information. So when you lay down and daydream about something, you're actually putting into motion those events. Okay, there's a study out there that if you hold something for 68 seconds and think about it, the manifestation process begins. Okay, and so that's what we're working with here, is we're trying to get the manifestation of your being to begin. If we can't get that manifestation going, then we need to ask the right questions. Okay, and that's where the cause and effect comes in. The polar opposites of everything exist. All right, and if you'd seen my video when I talk about the 4 different tables of elements, guys, okay, I'm not trying to redefine anything. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, as I call it. I'm just bringing into awareness that these different elements exist. Okay, and this is how we can organize it. Once you identify that those elements exist, okay, you know that they're there. You know that they have some sort of effect on the physical matter and the environment around us. Okay, the opposite of matter, the polar opposite of matter, is dark matter. Okay, for instance, if we used hydrogen, okay, the matter form of hydrogen has the atomic number of 1. Okay, that's all you need. Well, the exact opposite of hydrogen, okay, means that if hydrogen is going to move in a clockwise manner, okay, or in a counterclockwise manner, because it's matter form, okay, it would be blue. The opposite of that, the polar opposite, means that it's going to rotate clockwise, okay, to the right, the opposite of what matter would rotate on the energetic level. We're not dealing with weight here, so none of that matters. You only need to worry about the atomic number. That's why it's so simple. Okay, when you start adding weights and you start adding numbers and measurements and things like that to it, you just add more complications. And so what I'm hoping to do is to show you guys how and why to utilize the opposites. Okay, when you're nano coating your piece of copper wire, okay, you take your copper excuse me, you're taking your copper, okay, which is a natural positive polarity because it's matter, okay, and when you nano coat it, you turn it into the polar opposite. Okay, you add dark matter to the surface of this copper wire, therefore changing the entire polarity of this whole object. And this happens for anything that you nano coat. Okay, if you spray Gans water, okay, that's been washed on your plants, you're changing the polarity on the outside. Okay, if they're collecting, all of this negative energy, maybe they're absorbing some of this, atmospheric garbage that we got being pumped into us, okay, and your plants are looking like they're starting to dwindle and wither, okay. If you spray some structured water on it or Gans water that's been washed, okay, you'll see that plant perk up, okay. What you're doing is you're changing the polarity of the outside of that plant so that it can absorb everything that it possibly needs, okay. The same thing happens with the body, the human body, and anything with your animals. Okay, any living being, it will change the outside polarity to bring it back into balance. Now, there's a lot of things going on out there right now in the plasma world that says that you shouldn't come in contact with GANs or whatever. Okay, remember, for me, neutrinos are GANs. Okay, it's the same thing. I use neutrinos because it's accepted throughout the universe. Okay, nobody else in the universe knows what a gas at nano state is, because that doesn't happen right now. The only reason why we use gas is because humans can visualize that gas will take up space, because it takes, it fills up a balloon or something like that. Okay, it's hard to imagine that light will take up space like air takes up space in a balloon. Okay, and that's where I come in, because I teach you about the structure of light. Okay, on how a soap bubble can exist in our atmosphere even though it's just a thin layer of soap. Okay, it's stronger than our atmosphere, it's lighter than our atmosphere, it's able to float. Okay, which means that it exceeds the balance, or it creates perfect balance whenever you blow air into your balloon, okay, or into your soap bubble. Now, whenever I'm solving a problem, I always get down to the base cause, the root cause of it. Once you figure out the root cause, like cancer, for instance, it's all about feeding it, right? Well, how do you feed it? Well, we feed it with sugars, processed sugars, with negative emotions, feeling bad about ourselves, okay? Being told that you're gonna die. Humans don't die, right? Sure, we might physically lose our bodies, but our souls never die. That's what makes us special. And that's why every creature out there in the universe wants to breed with us, okay, and get part of our DNA and be part of that, because they want those kinds of abilities too. Well, we're moving into all of that. And right now, the only thing you have to do is survive Mother Nature. That's it. Everything else is going to happen to you naturally. If you want a leg up and you want to understand how this is working and what's going on our planet right now with this mass ascension, then pay attention, because this is it. Okay? This 3D world that we're in, the elections, the cabal, all the garbage that you guys are reading, none of that matters. Okay? Because the light has already won. Okay? We've already moved into the golden age in a future timeline based off of the actions that you see today. And that's the cause and effect. Based on the actions of the Keshe Foundation, based on the actions of those that, set into motion 100 years ago, like Nikola Tesla. Okay? All of those things are moving right now in this timeline so that we can have a better life. And it's here. You guys just need to make these devices and connect with your higher selves. Okay? Eventually, you're going to realize that you don't need these devices. But in the meantime, if you want to leg up and you want to help other people, okay, and your heart is true, then this is the device that you need to make, because then it'll make you smarter. Not smarter like me, okay, but smarter like you. And I don't feel like I want to make 7 billion of these devices for every person on the planet, even though if that's all I ever did the rest of my life, okay, no matter how long it is, I would do that. It's just a lot easier for me to make these videos and show you how I made mine. And if you guys make videos on how you make yours, okay, you might find something that's a little bit more efficient than what I'm teaching. Okay, and then we can incorporate that. We want it to be as simple as possible for everybody. And the very beginning part of that is to take care of your body. Okay, you might be trying to make a spaceship to get off of this planet. Okay, that's not why you're here. You're here because you want to help somebody in your life, okay? Somebody that's close to you. And that's why we're here to help. I need something specific from one of you guys, okay? That would be a problem that I can talk you through so that we can understand, besides cancer. I'm kind of tired of talking about cancer because it's so simple to take care of that we have, I just need somebody's situation, a situation that you would like to hear a verbal solution to, okay? And then from there you can understand how I solve the problems and then recreate it, okay, using plasmatic terms. So if any of you guys have any ideas right now that you guys would like, okay, questions, energy, health, flying cars, whatever it is, teleportation, just give me a solution, give me a desired outcome, and I'll tell you how I would figure it out. Okay? That's my goal here. But I need the support of you guys. Anybody want to come up online? I have been blocked. All right. I'm going to unmute you, Whitney. See if you
Hi.
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. So what kind of a situation or scenario would you like to hear?
Well, I really actually feel it in my body. Like I can feel the plasma field of myself, and it's in the right side, and it's it almost feels like a sphere comes in and attaches right at my rib cage.
Okay.
And it's been quite painful. It's been there I really started to notice it. I was in Morocco building the quantum energy generator 2 years ago. And you actually mentioned earlier in the conversation some things that I feel I stopped talking. So I couldn't express my truth. I didn't have the words for it. And then I stopped talking, and I can tell when others are not interested in listening. So then I just stop talking because there's no reason to say anything.
Right, because you're becoming more efficient.
Yeah,
and that's really what it boils down to. What we do here is we try to make ourselves as efficient as possible, okay, without losing our sense of emotions. And you know, by blocking yourself, okay, from not talking to these people because they were closed-minded, okay, you chose to take back your own power, okay? But I don't know that you chose to take back your own power based on your own decision rather than allowing their emotions or their disinterest to affect you, okay? It wasn't unconditional, as we call it. If you you know, like I've given examples on how people can give money, all right? If you've ever given people money, you know, whether it's $20 or $10 or, you know, even $100, and they may have a history of drug use or something like that, and you hand them a, you know, a $20 bill and say don't buy any drugs with it, you know, use it for what you need, you would put conditions on your giving, okay? Now, you do the same things with our emotions when we decide to stop talking to people, okay? And we decide to close up and clam up because we don't want to be hurt. We don't want their words. We don't want to waste our time. We don't, you know, it's falling on deaf ears. We got it. We're going to put our energy elsewhere. As far as the pain, you said it was on your right side, correct?
Yes. And I can feel it kind of from my inner ear on my right side, through my jaw, down my throat. And there's blockages along the way. So there's a block in my throat. And I mean, I've been whacking away at this for a long time. You know, there's a lot of emotional things that have come out as a result. So it's been an excellent teacher, but it hurts, you know, so it goes down, yeah, through the apex on the ribs. And then I know that it's a blockage that goes into like my navel chakra, and then goes down through the right leg, kind of, you know, halfway down before the knee, and kind of comes out there. Okay. And I can feel it, you know, move around. And when I realize something, it changes, it shifts, but then it comes back again. And sometimes it's not there at all, but that's kind of rare. And then those are the days that I flow the best.
Well, it sounds like, okay, and just remember, I'm not judging anybody, okay? I don't have a reason to judge, okay? All I can do, I'm an ATM for information, okay? Yeah. And when you ask me questions, Okay, anybody asks me questions, I get basically a telepathic connection to your emotions. Okay, and so I'm able to get a picture that comes into mind based off of what you're saying, the emotion, your voice inflection, okay, and all of the subtle energies that you can't see. Now, when it comes time for you to feel better, okay, have you noticed that you're not even thinking about it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not concerned about it. Okay, and the fact that it's moving around, like you're saying, like you can physically feel it moving from a different location, okay, tells me that you're not dealing with the root cause of that pain. Okay, you're identifying parts of it, but you're not dealing with the actual root cause. So it's kind of like dealing with the symptoms of it, just like modern medicine right now. Okay, and if you can figure out by sitting down and asking yourself, okay, because right now in the universe, okay, God source is listening, okay, whereas before, with about a year and a half ago, they weren't able to listen. We weren't able to make that connection to source because it was hijacked. And I say hijacked is that you'd say amen, and from a prayer or a blessing, and it's like it's being redirected to another email box. It's not being sent to wherever you want. For those that don't say amen, okay, there was literally a energetic level that would take your requests, okay, your subconscious requests and your emotional requests, come up, and it would bounce off the top and come back down to earth. It would never leave the planet. Okay, and right now, all you have to do is have faith that the God source is listening. Your higher self is listening. Okay, and when you identify that your higher self is there, and you've got 144 of you, okay, that means that there could be 144 different voices in your head. But your physical body and your emotional state that you're in right now, okay, you are in control of all of them. You just have to realize that they're there. Now, you can tell them during your 30-minute meditation or 15 minutes or whatever of just sitting down in silence and in darkness, okay? You don't have to have a plan to think about anything. Your brain will start to kick in, okay? And it starts to kick in and explore the, how would you say it? It's kind of like exploring the CD that you just made, okay? And it's exploring all of it. It's reading it all, okay? Back and forth, that little laser beam is reading it all at once. And when you're doing this, it's picking up all of the information at once, and it's setting down everything that you don't need, okay? And all the stuff that you do need kind of sticks up, okay? And then you can scrape all that stuff off the top and utilize it, all right? And that's what happens when you close your mind off, okay? All the crap that doesn't matter just sinks to the bottom and settles, okay? And if you think of it like the GANs that you guys create, okay, and the neutrinos, then you realize that your emotions are the same way, okay? And you can take those emotions and tell yourself when you're in this dark that I remove all things that are that are not organic to my body, okay? And then you can physically, if it makes you feel better, because we're physical beings, okay, to wipe your energy centers, okay? Physically wipe your body off. And if you visualize in your mind those infinity loops on the body, okay, I have my own confidence issues, otherwise I'd be like a naked guy back here with a bunch of circles on me, okay? So you can see the energy centers that are within the body, all right? And if we can learn how to wipe them clean physically, and then do a mental picture of those circles all being the same color and not blended together and, not necessarily the rainbow color, make it all red, okay? That means they're all in sync with each other, okay? And they're in flow. Okay? Make it all red in one side. The balance comes automatically. Okay? And so when you're trying to figure out what's going on with your right side, okay, the left side of your brain, okay, this is my right side. I'm looking at my screen here. Okay, the left side of your brain controls the right side of your body. Okay? So let's go back even further, right? Well, what does the left brain represent? Okay, what does it control? Okay, I don't know this answer right offhand, and I'm sure if I wanted to, I could get on Google and find out. Okay, but this is more for you guys to do your own research. Okay, figure out what the left side of your brain is responsible for. Okay, if you've got the chakras that you know, like your throat chakra. Okay, your throat chakra is designed to help you express verbally. Okay, help you express those emotions. And if you don't, then you usually get a sore throat. You might, get swollen glands. You might get a gland that's swollen in your armpit. Okay, those types of things. Okay, all of those are physiological responses to your energy signal. Okay, and you can use acupuncture. You can use the one where I can't remember the name of it, where you touch your hands and your feet. Okay, acupressure, I think. You can utilize all of those, okay, to alleviate the chakra energy. Okay. Now, once you go into the left side of your brain, okay, you're going to figure out that, I can't remember if it's the creativity side of your brain, and it's got all the other functions. Okay, but the left side of your brain controls all the right side organs. Okay, and then the right side controls all the left sides. Well, if you've got a pain on your right side, that means the left side of your brain is being affected. Okay, and you need to go into the emotional side of the left side of the brain and what it controls. All right, I don't have these right now, so I can't exactly show you, but I would love to be able to. But when you're able to identify what the left brain is trying to do, okay, and correlate it with the pain in your side, okay, and the situation that comes up, okay, that causes that pain to flare up, all right, it's kind of like walking into an electric fence, okay?
Yeah.
Listening to your body as you're walking along. If you're walking in the dark, which is the way I call people right now, okay, we're all walking in the dark, okay, and we're blind, okay, it's like you're walking down the middle of a single lane road that has electric fence on either side, okay, and you're blinded, and if you kind of veer off to the path a little bit, you're going to get zapped, all right, and that zap is the physical pain that we get in our body, whether it's on the left side, or a heart problem, or maybe you just got a pain right above your navel, okay, your belly button, and you don't understand why. Okay, identify where that chakra is, what it's responsible for, what part of the organs that it takes care of. Okay, you can change your diet that affects that specific organ. Okay, and then you check your environment around you. Okay, and get rid of those things that no longer serve you. Okay, that are causing that. And then that's how you heal your body. And sometimes that means ending a relationship that you may not necessarily feel like you want to end at the moment. Okay, but right now it's all about individuality. Just because you're ending a relationship, whether it's a marriage or a longtime girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, you can still be friends. You don't necessarily have to be lovers. All right, and a lot of people are mixed up into that, friendships versus love and sex and whatever else. My ex-wife and I are still friends. Okay, we were married for 17 years and we got 3 wonderful children together, but we still have to be friends in order for my children to have a normal life, is what the best that we can. And it's just a matter of being friendly no matter what. Okay, despite how much hatred somebody wants to spew at you, you don't have to be a sponge for abuse. Okay, because I'll be damned if somebody's going to get in my face, and try to demean me because of their belief system. But I'm not going to get in their face and throw my information down their throat. When you come to the realization that everybody on this planet, okay, is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, whether it's good or bad, okay, based on our perception, whether we like it or not, okay, it's all part of the master plan, okay? It has to happen this way in order for us to shift the timeline that we're in. And we're shifting it. We have already shifted it more than 51%, okay? And that's the goal here. And this is what they call divine intervention. Now, as far as your body is concerned, the divine intervention is that everything is coming to the surface right now. Okay? And for everybody that is energetically sensitive, okay, what I call light workers, all right, you're feeling all of this energy. Okay? You're feeling these aches and pains. You're feeling this, all of a sudden you just go off the charts because you're instantly angry and you don't know why. And then, within 6 hours, it's done, it's over with, and you sit back and look and go, what the hell was that? Okay? That's all these energies coming to the surface. Okay? You got to deal with it. Your body's got to get rid of it. Sometimes it's in the form of tears. Okay? I've cried more in the last 2 weeks than I've ever done in my life. Okay? And, I just sat here and I would be like, I'll watch a video, and it would touch an emotional string. And then for 15 minutes, I'm a blubbering idiot. Okay? But I say a blubbering idiot in the sense that I had no control over it, but I sure the hell felt better afterwards. And then when I sat down and meditated and asked myself why I needed to do that, the answers come to me. Okay? I have a direct connection to source, and I guess I'm privileged in that sense, or it's just the most efficient way, for me to communicate with myself. Okay? But, like right now, my crown chakra is just on fire. It's the connection that I've got is just intense. And being able to find the balance and the acceptance that we're just on this roller coaster ride right now, okay? Every one of us human beings is strapped into this roller coaster ride right now, okay? And we can't get off this roller coaster until we get to the end, okay? And they open the gates for us, okay? Well, when I say they open the gates for us, okay, that means that we have to have an understanding and knowledge as far as humanity is concerned, okay? What I've learned is that I'm only able to teach, okay, and express the things that I know when somebody else asks me, okay? If I give the information out, everybody runs the other direction. All right? That means that there has to be somebody who is interested in that question. Okay? And it works the same way for the Keshe Foundation. A lot of people are, beating up the Keshe Foundation because, Mr. Keshe doesn't make anything of his own. All right? He brings knowledge. Okay? He brings an understanding. Don't necessarily like his business practices, but I don't care about the business. All that stuff is going away in the future, all right? So what happens now with the business stuff is gone, all right? So if we're going to worry about his business practices, then you're going to be stuck worrying about his business practices, and you're not going to make his devices, And, it isn't the man, it's the message. It's world peace. And that's what we're doing here. In order to give everybody world peace, they have to be equal. And knowledge is equality. And if they want to be equal, then they have to learn this stuff, so they have to ask the questions. When you guys ask questions to me, you're asking the questions for about 1 million other people. Okay? No pressure. Okay? The perception that I've got is that for every person that I help understand, okay, and bring a clear vision of how this energy works within the body, I'm helping 1 million other people that have and share the same perception that you do. Okay, as an individual. So if I'm helping, I'll spend 10, 12 hours in my little chat working with, 8 or 9 different people at the same time. Okay, and each one of them is on a different level of their ascension process and their understanding of how light and plasma works. And when I'm doing that, I see the numbers as 8 or 9 million, not 8 or 9 people. Okay? And I reach even more people when I make these videos. So I appreciate your asking your questions. Was I able to help you?
I can feel changes in my body just as you're talking and I'm listening to you and incorporating that into myself.
I can see your aura.
Can you see a change, or?
I can see your aura. You do have an imbalanced. Let me pull you up on the big screen here, if you don't mind.
Right, but I just don't think that matters, maybe.
No, it doesn't matter, the light in the background. Okay, for me, I can see your aura around your head. Okay, it is imbalanced when I say that, meaning that the one side, okay, your left side is more of a blue or a bluish, okay, more of a, it's more intense. I can't really say that it's blue. It's more intense on the left side than it is on the right side. Okay, so that tells me that that coincides with your abilities. Okay, which means that your left side brain is more active than the right side of your brain. That's
The creativity, I think, is the right side, and the direct focus and attention left
is the
side.
left side. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, if that's true, I believe, you know, that to happen. Now, if that's the case, then, you know, what I'm being told now is that you just don't let your creativity override the rest of your life. Okay? Create the balance within your life as far as have fun. Don't be so serious all the time. You know, I am dealing with that on my own side, okay? Because this plasma teaching is very intense for me, and I feel extremely compelled to get online as every chance that I get, and it's affecting my personal life.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, my children don't want anything to do with me because I'm constantly cramming this down their throat. You know, my wife is mad at me. You know, because of it sometimes, but overall, I still get that support. Okay, otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here on the Monday mornings and, you know, trying to teach guys. And you know, but yeah, I can see your energy, and it's constantly fluctuating. It's a maintaining of that thought process. Okay, I don't need anything else around me. Okay, and when you realize that I don't need anything else around me, okay, if you stopped eating for 3 days, you will notice a physical and emotional change within the body. It's the detox. Okay, well, I like food. I'm already skinny, you know, but I like food, so I feel like I've got to eat all the time. All right, but then I'll forget to eat for like 2 days because I'm not hungry. My children aren't hungry anymore. My wife isn't hungry. My animals, the food that's in our fridge is starting to go bad now because, you know, we're not eating near as much food. You know, I can only suggest that it comes from these devices. Okay, do I know for sure, or is it just my mental ability to tell myself that that's poison and I don't want to eat it? You know, I don't know. Okay, but I do know how these devices and these energy works. Okay, so the belief system for me is that I'm getting my food and my energy from this little device here. Because I'm still a human being, therefore I feel like I still need to receive something while I'm here on this planet. And I'm receiving something from these little devices back here. Okay? And so I'm encouraging everybody that watches these videos to make the little IQ, all right? And see for yourself. Report the changes. I don't want to tell you all of the things that I'm experiencing because then I feel like I'm indoctrinating your mind on what to expect. And, you know, you don't have to worry about it being hacked. You don't have to worry about, you know, the information that you're getting being of a different source. Okay, like you know, AI, artificial intelligence, or, you know, some other negative being out there. Okay, but as far as your body goes, just understand that it's the balance of things. You'll, once you start detoxing from some of the foods, you eat a grape, for instance. Instead of eating the whole bag of grapes, okay, you only eat 5 or 6, and then you notice that it's building up into your body, okay? And it's building into your body as far as where you can feel, as soon as you chew it up, you feel it. My veins pop out, okay? And I can feel it coursing through before I even get to swallow it all and it hits my stomach, okay? So I can feel the energy from that fruit as my body is absorbing it. Then you realize you're not that hungry, okay? Because you just gave yourself what you needed. All right, so you don't have to eat 5 pounds worth of food in order to be full, and that's what we're learning. Let me mute this person. There we go. That way we can, bring our bodies back into balance. But yeah, seeing your aura and seeing it change has been very intriguing for me right now. Because last night when I was going out to go get some food, the moon was out, and I could see 2 rings around the moon that were pretty close to proximity to me, to the moon. Okay, usually if we see like a halo around the moon, it's a really, really big halo. Okay, if my face is the moon, all right, the auras, the 2 rings around it, were as big as my fingers. Okay, so they weren't very big. Normally they're really big and you can see the rainbow and things like that, but this one had 2 rings. Okay, one right around the center, and then one that was about that far away from it. Okay, and it looked like the moon was experiencing aurora borealis, and it was highlighting the energetic field all the way around it. Now, I don't know if anybody else could see that or whatever, or if that was just my own perception of things, but things are changing. Okay, I no longer see the moon as like a flat object anymore. I see it as dangling up in space. Okay, and it's dangling and it should be spinning and it's not. So that tells me that the moon is fake. Yeah, we just kind of feed into all sorts of crap on him. But the cause and effect of everything that we do, okay, you create a ripple effect. For people, that enjoy, the story of Jesus, and they can take it for what it is. When you dig down deep enough, you'll find out that Jesus was part of a super advanced civilization from the future. Okay, and sure, it sounds, based off of our beliefs right now, it sounds impossible. Okay, but nothing is impossible in this universe, and time travel isn't either. Okay, if you've ever watched the movie Butterfly Effect, okay, it's the same aspect. These super intelligent beings, okay, witnessed the destruction of the Milky Way galaxy because of the actions of humans. Now, this is a timeline that we are changing currently, okay? And we've already changed. Like I said, we've just got to take this ride and wait till it stops in order to get off, okay? But in the future, humanity destroys about 1/3 of the Milky Way galaxy, okay, based off of their research from the hydrogen bomb. Because hydrogen is the most prevalent element in the universe, it caused a chain reaction that destroyed about 1/3 of the Milky Way. If you were to take a picture of the spiral Milky Way galaxy and make it look like Cookie Monster took a big bite out of it, that's the images that were shared with me. Okay? Well, we've changed that timeline. And part of that timeline change is this divine intervention, as we called it, when Jesus was sent back in time to a very specific place in time so that his presence caused the butterfly effect of what you see today. Okay? The actions of Tesla, the actions of Mr. Keshe, the actions of myself, and any other light worker out there that is sharing plasma technology right now, okay, with humanity, and the takedown of the dark forces, as we call them, things like that, all of those things stemmed from the insertion, as I will call it, of Jesus back in history. Okay? Those super beings from the Blue Star family are the ones that have changed it, okay, that have changed this timeline so that we can move into the golden age, because there was a point when humanity was doomed. Okay? And humanity is the answer, or the white blood cells for all of the bad things that are out there. We have the universe and all of the information within the universe within our bodies and our cells and our DNA. No other species out there has that. Okay? And that's what we're working with here. And our bodies, our vessels are extremely important. And the ability to keep them and survive Mother Nature right now is all you need to do. You know, our planet is going to go through a lot of release of energy. Okay, and before it used to be earthquakes. It used to be the catastrophic earthquakes that you read about in biblical times and, you know, in history every 26,000 years. Okay, that timeline isn't going to happen this time. All right, it's actually going to do the opposite, and the surface population is going to thrive, and we're going to move into the golden age, and all of the beings that are hiding in the center or right under the surface of our planet, okay, are going to be cleansed with salt water. You know, that's what my higher self is telling me. Does that mean that there's not going to be earthquakes? No. There are going to be some earthquakes, but they're not going to be, you know, a 20 on the Richter scale. Okay, your 7s, 8s, 9s, even 10s and 12s on the Richter scale are going to be possible. But it isn't going to affect the entire surface population like it has in the past. You know, a lot of that has to do with because people like you. Okay, and if you believe in this energy and this God source energy, it's because you understand that it's there. You've acknowledged that it's there. And that's the raising of the vibrations of humanity that we speak of and that you might be hearing on some of these esoteric sites. Okay? Understanding your personal role in this, it just means that when you make your world better around you, okay, whether it's making yourself laugh or making yourself smile, or making somebody else feel better, you know, giving to them unconditionally, you're raising the vibration of everybody around you. Your personal actions has a physical effects on the planet right now, no matter how small. Okay? And when we understand that, you know, there's an ungodly number, and I'm sure I've shared it many times, of how many pictures the brain takes, okay, every second. And I think it's something to the effect of, you know, I'm trying to 71 or 7.1 or something like that, to the 21st power, which means that there's this number like 21 or something like that, 21 or 71, to the 21st power with 22 zeros after it, 21 zeros. That's how many picture frames that your brain takes every second. Okay, that's just the pictures. And along with those pictures, it saves the data of all the smells, okay, all of your senses, all of those things that make up your reality, okay? And when you think of it that way, your life is nothing more than a little flip book picture, okay? It moves through these numbers of pictures so fast that it appears like we have motion and movement. And, you know, really it's just a series of, you know, a couple trillion of these picture frames that are going through our mind. You know, so it can be kind of hard for you to wrap your mind around. And imagine that every second you have a trillion plus, okay, decisions that you can make. Okay, you can decide to take a step with your left foot instead of your right foot. That causes ripples. Okay, when you make a conscious decision to do something. Okay, if you make a conscious decision to go drop $5 at the store on the floor so that anybody can find it and they can use it for whatever they want, you've made a ripple in time. You have made somebody's life better, because when they find $5 that has nothing attached to it, they're very happy. Okay, and that's how you can transmute the negative energy of money. is by giving away $5, okay? Or like I did during Christmas, I blessed some quarters and wrote eights on them, okay, the infinity symbols. And I put them in the kid sections where I know kids were going to be and find them, because when they find it and they're so happy, their parents are happy. So now I've affected 2 people, okay? And when you bless them with, you know, give these people, whoever finds these quarters or this change or whatever you give out, you know, just say a quick blessing, you know, help them out, no matter who it is, you know, and that's giving unconditionally. Seeing somebody who's hurting, you don't even have to talk to them or, you know, really know who they are. You can walk up to them and say, you look like you could use a hug. I would like to be the person to give you that hug. Okay? And when doing so, you change their life. Okay? Hold the hug for 20 seconds. It takes about 20 seconds for the human body to make an actual connection with the other person. So hold that hug and you can actually feel your heartbeat different. Okay? It'll come into synchronicity with the other person's, and you get to share and balance their emotions. Okay? And that's why human touch is so important. Is there any other questions that people would like to bring up? Gloria says it helps to get to know and be honest with yourself. And just by listening to this recording, okay, or live or whatever, we're creating ripples in the universe. And, you know, it's affecting more than just your household and your planet. It's affecting everything and all of creation. And that's what we do here on this planet. Okay, we are the hub for galactic information and we need to share it. And we as human beings, when we connect to Source, we get to share everything that is within our DNA with all of creation. And they get to learn from that. And that's what we're doing right now. You know, previously you guys have heard me, if you've listened to it, that we need 360 of these IQ units. Okay? It doesn't matter what configuration, it doesn't matter any of that. You just need 360 people to connect to their higher selves so that we can protect our planet and bring it and take it back. Okay, take control over it so that we are fully aware of what is happening on every square centimeter of our planet. Okay, we get to put that energetic field out there, and if somebody comes into our atmosphere, everybody that has one of these devices will know it. Okay, you'll feel it. If something happens on our planet anywhere, okay, and it's hurting our planet, okay, she has emotions too, okay, you're going to feel it. You're going to have those understandings. I've been correlating and understanding that when I feel my chest and my heartbeat change, okay, I can feel inside of my body a physical change of my heartbeat, okay. If I put my hand over my heart and I try to feel that energy, the heartbeat, it's just a normal heartbeat, but I can feel inside of my body a pulsing, okay, and it's out of normal for me. So when it's out of normal, I pay attention to it and I ask myself what's going on. And by asking myself, why am I feeling this? And the very first thing that pops in my mind is the right answer, okay? I've just learned to trust that very first thing. And so when I say, you know, why all of these energies all of a sudden, I'm feeling funny, I got to go, you know, ground myself or whatever. I've been finding out that those are correlated with earthquakes around the planet. And that energy that I'm feeling, okay, is my connection to Mother Earth and feeling when she's in turmoil or when she's got to release this pressure, you know. And if you're suffering from this or you're feeling these, okay, know that your body is absorbing about 90%, all right, of the energies that Earth is giving off right now, because you're a light worker. And whether you realize it right now or not, you volunteered to come in here and absorb all of these, okay? right now. Okay, you may not understand it, but you volunteered for this so that the surface population doesn't die. And that was our answer. Okay, all of the light workers and the people that were ascending said, we're not leaving anybody behind. We're going to stop the division right now. And everybody is going to be raised up to the same level and given the same opportunities. Okay, and in doing so, we erase duality, we erase division, we erase racism, we erase all of this crap that we see right now in our own society. Okay, so your elections, your governments, your the different factions and things like that are causing problems right now. All of it's based off of money, and the only reason why it's working right now is because people think that they need money. Okay, and pretty soon all of those things are going to be taken care of. You're going to have everything that you need or want, okay, and some, and then you're going to realize that you don't want it because now you got to move it, you got to handle it, you got to deal with it. Okay, and you just realize that you don't need to deal with it. I have a whole shed here full of stuff, okay, in all of my storage areas of things that I don't need anymore. And, I haven't used it in the last 6 months, so therefore I don't need it. And, if I haven't used it in the last 3 months, most likely I don't need it. And, my house looks bare, it looks like I'm moving out, that kind of thing, because we just stopped buying stuff that we don't need. We spend all of our money on plants and food for our animals and things like that. So it's just getting rid of the things that no longer serve us, and you might hear a lot of spiritual terms, but it's a literal. Get rid of it, toss it out, if you toss it out, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay, if you're concerned about the environment, then deal with it responsibly. Okay, but just know that you cleaning out your closet right now and getting rid of all your physical baggage is also helping you to clear out your emotional baggage that you might have, and you feel better because you feel accomplished. And we're going through that right now in my house. Everything in my house is being rearranged and cleaned, and spring cleaning, and we're getting rid of the things that we don't need or we never use. They take up a lot of space. Last year, my son brought home a trailer that he had purchased, and a little RV or whatnot, and I believe that RV had bed bugs in it, and my house got infected with these bed bugs without my knowing until it was too late. And I can't help but think that the bed bug population is booming across the world, okay? Because just before all of this stuff happened about a year ago, we started seeing suddenly these little purple spray bottles at Walmart that said bed bug and flea. They popped up, and then all of a sudden we started getting bed bugs, and we have a flea problem. Well, if we remember correctly, history, okay, the bubonic plague was spread by fleas because they eat blood, okay, and they bite people and they spread it, okay. These bed bugs are also that way, and I can't help but feel, all right, following my own intuition, that a majority of these are geoengineered, and they're designed to bite and share blood and pass disease and whatever. So if anybody's got any solutions that we can share for bed bugs right now, the only answer that I have seen is getting some dry ice and CO2, okay, or the dry ice, putting it in water, allowing the CO2 to billow out of your container, okay, and that is attracting the bed bugs to that point, and they go inside. Okay, well, CO2, dry ice, is not necessarily available to everybody, and the same energetic fields is not available from the CO2 that we create. Okay, so I'm still working on that kind of a solution. But if anybody's got some ideas, okay, that are effective, then please let me know. We have tried lavender, okay, they just keep coming. The only thing that I have seen that has been truly effective is sunlight. within minutes of these things being in the sunlight, they actually stop moving and die. So that was my only other answer, but I can't exactly rip the roof off of my house and provide it with sunshine at the moment. You know, the kind of light that I want to provide it with is fire right now. So now, are there any other questions before we take a quick break?
Yes, hello.
Yes. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Mario.
Hi, Mario.
I was just thinking about things that Mr. Kish says about how you don't kill viruses in your body. You give them what they need, and then they stop feeding off of you.
Yes.
I was just thinking, have you tried a way to feed them, not kill them?
Well, considering that the only thing that they feed off of is human blood, I'm not sure that their existence is supposed to happen. All right? And that's just my own animosity towards these little bastards that are biting me, you know, and my family. But on that side of things, yes, we try to attract the opposite, okay? But I am unwilling to use my blood, okay, to put it into nanoform to attract these bed bugs, okay? And I'm not going to use anybody else's blood for this. You know, a lot of people are very squeamish about the use of blood, even though it's the most powerful plasma that we own as a human body, as a human being. So we use diatomaceous earth, and we use lavender. We've used
using CO2 near your bed or on your sheets or things like that, washing the sheets with CO2.
Yeah, it doesn't. The CO2 that we use as a gas, okay, that is produced when you use when you're adding dry ice to water, okay, and you get the billowing. That's the CO2 that comes out of there. They're attracted to that particular gas, okay.
Well, I meant the CO2 GANS water.
It's not CO2. It's not carbon dioxide, okay.
No, I mean, do you use CO2 GANS though, right?
Yes, okay. The CO2 stands for carbon dioxide, GANS.
Yeah, but I mean the GANS of it.
It's not CO2. We just call it CO2 because we don't have any other name to call it, okay? It's not the gas of CO2 that is trapped inside of there, all right? So it doesn't have the same effects as the CO2 that's coming off of your dry ice block that's in water. You understand?
Mike, can you hear me? Excuse me.
Yes, I can hear you.
I heard of one of the Kesh group in the Philippines mixed a mixture in a pen, you know, the tube with the pen in it.
The health pens.
He mixed citronella, lemongrass, and what's the other thing? There's one other additive that's just evades me at the moment. Put it in a glass of water, drank the water, and the mosquitoes didn't bite him. As a matter of fact, they had a plague of mosquitoes, but the mosquitoes wouldn't bite them. Maybe that's something similar that you could use. I'll find the other additives.
What I'm trying to find out is what they don't like.
Well, this stuff, they don't bite you because they don't like you. When you drink the water, the plasma water, it permeates the plasma, it goes through your body, and the mosquitoes don't bite you because they don't like it. Maybe
it's the same concept as if you were to eat a bunch of garlic or garlic powder or, you know, certain foods. Okay, it comes out your pores. That is a great option for attempting that, and it doesn't solve the problem though of getting them out of my home. Okay, it just keeps them from biting me. Whether it's mosquitoes
A
or
homeopathic concoction, Mike.
say it again.
Then you do a homeopathic concoction.
The
It's been known that if you add
them, okay,
what I'm saying is, you know, if you add the actual parasite to the concoction when it's being made and you spray that around your house, then when the actual animal comes to the area and it takes the, you know, the vibration, feels the vibration of, you know, the death of one of their own, they don't come.
Yeah, it's I do the same thing for snakes. You know, especially chicken snakes around here.
Yeah, and what he said in the first instance works as well, because we use lemongrass essential oil here on the farm, because we distill the essential oil from the herbs that we grow, and lemongrass is a natural insect repellent, so we use it as, you know, as an oil on the body, and they stay away, you know.
Well, good, because my wife grew some lemon balm. And I believe there's also some lemongrass out there, but if not, I can get some. And
Nice.
it will be an infinity device, you know, similar to what I made here, like these health pens, okay, that I'll be testing it on. But I've tried everything.
I think it will work. I think it will work, because just like the concept of taking it internally, that's like a, you know, double protection beside actually putting the oil on your body. You know, then it goes inside, and then when they land on you, then they feel that vibration coming up through your paws, and then they don't bite you. Now, if you incorporate that into the IQ devices, then you get to broadcast that energy outward with a much larger field.
And I think these right here, these little health pens, are going to be the answer for it. The quad cores, and if you close off the end of this and we turn it into infinity, okay, and that means that the energy will be broadcasted outwards instead of through the tip like a laser beam. I think the ideas that are coming to mind just talking to you guys, because I'm connecting and taking in all of your information, is that these right here are going to be the answer, I guess, to put these in your beds, okay, or next to your beds, where you're sleeping, where you have the issues. They may not cover the entire farm or acreage or whatever it is that we've got, but it will protect that little bubble. I've just been dealing with this for so long that, you know, I have to apply my own principles, you know, as far as what is the base cause of this, you know, and I don't understand how or why bed bugs exist, okay? And therefore I can't, I don't understand why they exist. What is the purpose of just eating human blood, you know, other than being parasitic? And, you know, why do they do it other than for their own survival? And when you get those answers, that's when you can completely eliminate the problem. And then I guess I'm just waiting for the ability to take care of that whole problem itself.
So, Mike, can I say something again?
Yeah. You identify yourself for me, please?
Sorry?
Can you identify yourself for me?
Mario again.
Okay.
What you just said about the bed bugs, don't take this the wrong way. I mean this in just a general understanding way of thinking. Wouldn't a cow say the same thing about you? Or an apple?
That's correct.
So why do you exist?
I exist to share information.
Well,
so if they're, you know, I understand the whole division of cells. Okay.
Are communicating with each other too.
Right.
Just we're communicating, they communicate with each other. So they have a right to exist. What I meant about the CO2 was, it, from my understanding with Mr. Kesh, the CO2 may be a combination of CO2, CH3, and copper oxide. And just in the right combination will give the bed bugs will feed off of that instead of you.
It
And
hasn't
so-
worked so far.
What?
It hasn't worked so far.
How have you tried to do it?
I've just taken some washed CO2. I've taken some saltwater CO2, and I've put them in, these little plastic containers that I've got. Okay, little beading containers, and just to see if it will attract them. I've even sprayed it on the carpet or the wall. And I've put it on paper towels so that I can see them gathering if they do. And I can't seem to attract any of these bugs to the CO2 what we call CO2. Okay.
Well, but how about, have you tried washing the sheets with
Yes.
the CO2 water?
I put structured water into my washing machine. Yes.
Which one did you use, Mike? Sorry for a second. You said that you used the washed one and the salt one, the one that was unwashed, right?
I've used both on separate occasions.
Okay, you tried it individually.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the videos on YouTube of how they made the little devices that causes the CO2 to billow out, and that attracts them. Okay, that's what I was so excited about when we first learned that it was CO2. But it doesn't work, which tells me that these guys are, they just keep on coming. And I believe that everything has an existence and a reason for existence, and it's to share information. But I don't want to share my information anymore with these guys, and I want them to leave me alone. And I don't know how yet to get them to leave me alone. And right now, my higher self is telling me to quit smoking cigarettes and to leave me alone. Okay? So I guess I just need to quit smoking cigarettes and then leave me alone. I guess I'll let you know when I quit cigarettes, guys.
What combination of
Do you
gas?
wanna?
Sorry.
I got more than one person talking.
What combination of gases did you use to wash the sheets? Just CO2, try CH3, that's an energy. You tried all three?
I've just used the CO2 myself. When I didn't get any results from it, I knew that I was doing something wrong. Okay, which means that I'm not. They're seeking a different kind of polarity energy. Okay, even with the salt water, the reason why I used freshwater or washed GANs and saltwater GANs was because freshwater has a positive energy field and the saltwater has a negative. And so I was trying to see if they would be attracted to either one of them based on the information that it was CO2. I didn't get a single bug on any of them. So they weren't attracting it. I sprayed it on the carpet. It didn't contain them to an area. They didn't go to it first, that kind of stuff. So I was a little discouraged in that sense, which means that I'm not approaching it correctly. I'm not getting rid of it or addressing the root cause of it. Okay. Now, I figure myself to be a pretty clean person. Okay. And, my home isn't dirty, whatever. So I feel like I'm a dirty person because I don't have the ability to get rid of these bugs. And, I can't help but think that they are being geoengineered to enter all of these people's homes and bite them, especially here in America, because the amount of bed bug spray that leaves the shelves is ridiculously large. And I know I'm not the only one, so I wanted to be sure and bring this up and bring something to an understanding. So we got about 8 minutes left here, guys, before I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. And, we can continue a little bit. I'll be back on about 10 minutes after the hour to finish up some of the work that I've got. I want to work on this device here. Okay, some of you may have seen the videos that I've got so far as far as how to connect it and whatnot. Some good news is that this battery only had like 1.5 volts in it when I hooked it up, and would not even so much as flicker a light or anything like that in the power inverter. And when I flip this on here, I can see a very, very light flicker, which tells me that this is slowly charging. And I need to add a capacitor ring or 2 or 3 to these to help it flow, despite having my reactors and water here. Okay. I don't know if you can see the top part where it's starting to nano coat itself. Okay, I haven't done anything to this except for put my nano coating on it, but you can see that it's starting to change itself there. Okay, and there's the other side. So you can see the bottom part down there making its debut of nano coating. Okay, copper oxide type. So I'm gonna be working on that, guys. I need to create something today. I have that urge. I've got to create something. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a very specific health pin for these bed bugs. Okay? My intent and your intent is going to be to save if you guys want to help me with it. I'm just going to be making a quad core, so if you want to get yourself some 20 gauge wire, okay, 14 gauge, it's up to you, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be just for bed bugs, but the intent when we create it is what's going to be relayed, okay, shared with everything around you. And that's why it's so beautiful and important that we make these devices, because whatever you decide you're going to make, it's going to work, okay? You just have to understand that you're going to make it work with these things. So any questions in the next 5 minutes?
I just wanted to give you, Mike, this is Dylan, right? I just wanted to give you a concoction you can use for getting rid of that cigarette addiction. So black pepper, right?
Black pepper.
Yeah, you just get some black pepper essential oil, and you just diffuse a couple drops in some hot water, and you just put your head with a towel over the container, and you breathe and inhale that steam from the black pepper oil that's coming up with the steam.
Okay.
Just do that once a day for about, maybe a week or two, and you'll see that your cravings for the cigarette is just going to disappear.
That'd be great. Right now I use it as my way of grounding.
Yeah.
My wife has informed me that it's really tacky to be smoking on camera, so I'm not going to be smoking on camera.
Yeah, that's good.
But you guys are actually helping me cut down on my smoking because I'm talking and not,
right.
Not consuming nicotine anymore. But as soon as I get up of here, I go have a cigarette. So it's kind of pointless.
Yeah. I know.
But it is a difficult, but not impossible feat to have. And I know there's a lot of people out there that just cold turkey and whatnot. It doesn't work real well with people who have previous anger issues like me. Being a veteran, PTSD, not learning or knowing how to deal with my energy. Quitting cold turkey was always a problem. And so my fear, I guess, is that is going to emerge again, and I don't want to see it. And so I guess that's kind of why I don't sit back and allow myself to quit smoking. Although I went and bought 4 packs of cigarettes yesterday and some chocolate, and it was like almost $65. That's a waste of money.
Well, here's what. There's something called the wax pen. It's being sold all over Denver, Colorado, but it's available all over the U.S. It's like it's the sister to the vaporizer. It vaporizes the marijuana. And what marijuana does as well, it brings about that spiritual connection, and it brings about that healing effect on the body, opening the third eye, and it also heals addictions as well. So what you do is you buy if marijuana is expensive in your area and you can't be buying marijuana, you can't grow it, then you order the oil. You buy a syringe of oil, and usually people buy the syringe of oil which they use for healing cancer, and that usually lasts about a month per syringe, right?
Mhm.
And you just take like a little drop 3 times a day. But in this case, you're going to be using the wax pen. So you just put like a drop in the wax pen, and the wax pen is going to give you at least 6 to 7 hits per drop. You understand? So, and
You're
it's
talking about dabs?
not the dabs. The dabs is something different, but this is the concentrated THC, CBD. Everything is in
Okay,
that oil.
I gotcha.
What
I
they
understand.
do is they soak the marijuana in 100% alcohol, and then they leave it for about a couple of days, and then they boil it. When you boil it inside a rice cooker, you evaporate all the alcohol out, and you leave back only the components. It's like a black tarish substance. And
You're
then
breaking it down into its nanoform.
yes, right. So you just have a black oil, like a tar, and then you just use that in the wax pen, and you use that, you smoke that, and
Well, that's definitely good information to share, especially on this on our show here. Um, you know, I appreciate it. I'm not going to delete it. You know, my job is to take down big pharma, big companies, big things like that. But I don't need an army to do that. I just need you guys to take care of yourselves. You know,
That's right.
and you know, I appreciate all of the information that people share, especially on the holistic views of things. You know, I've been called a holistic plasmatic light shaman. I guess it's all the same thing. They just kind of tendency because the ability to make these devices, but the devices are just, you know, something physical that we can manipulate and correlate between our hearts and our minds, literally connect them. So I do appreciate it very much for sharing this. And with that, we're going to take a 10-minute break. I believe I'm being recorded on YouTube right now, live. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Go get you some coffee, go to the bathroom, do whatever you need to do. I am going to stop recording on this, and we will start recording again when we come back. Okay?
Great,
Thank
Mike.
you guys. I appreciate it very much. To those of you that are recording, go ahead and please stop.